Recording
Okay,
in
it's 6
progress.
o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. May we have roll call, please?
Chair Garcia,
Here.
Vice Chair Urquidez, Commissioner Gallardo,
Here.
Commissioner Mendoza.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. I'd like to see if anybody would be interested in motion to excuse Vice Chair Urquidez.
Yes, I'll make a motion to excuse Commissioner Urquidez.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I second that.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, we can move on to Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Mendoza, could you lead us, please?
Again, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. And Happy New Year, everyone. I always forget the pleasantries at the beginning. We can move on to public comments from the audience regarding items not on the agenda.
No comment.
No emails, no hands raised. Okay, we can move on to consent agenda. The adoption of the November 4th, 2025 Planning Commission minutes.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept this.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
I second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to business items. Our first item is the election of chair and vice chair for the 2026 calendar year. May we have a staff report?
So, good evening. My name is Natalie. I'm a permit technician. So each year, at the beginning of the year, the Planning Commission is required to elect a chairperson and a vice chairperson to serve the calendar year. The appointments shall come effective immediately and expire December 31st of 2026. It is our recommendation that the Planning Commission take motion and vote that the chair and vice chair of the for the Planning Commission for the calendar year of 2026.
Okay, thank you for that report. Do you guys have any questions?
Do I have us? I'd like to table this until we have a full panel here, if possible.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yep.
Okay. In the meantime, are we chairless? Or is this interim? Yeah. Okay. All right, so we'll table item 1.
There doesn't need to be a motion made and a seconded.
Okay, can we have a motion for that, please?
I'll make a motion that we table item, a business item, election of chair and vice chair, until we have a full panel.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, our next business item is the approval of meeting dates for the 2026 Planning Commission calendar.
Each year, at the beginning of the year, staff proposes a Planning Commission to adopt the calendar establishing dates of the Planning Commission. So up here on top is the recommended Planning Commission dates for the calendar year of 2026. It is recommended that the Planning Commission review and adopt the motion and vote the proposed Planning Commission's meeting for the calendar year 2026.
Okay, thank you for that. We can open up public comment on this item. Seeing none, we'll close public comment, move on to Planning Commission discussion and decision.
Good to me.
Any discussion? If not, can
Well, I had previously looked at this, and I didn't see any conflicting dates as far as I was concerned, so as far as I'm concerned, there's no reason to not adopt them.
Okay, may we have a motion?
Okay. I move that the Planning Commission of City of Greenfield approve the proposed Planning Commission meeting calendar for 2026 as set forth in the staff report for this item.
Thank you. May we have a second?
I second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And our third business item is the approval of final parcel map for the minor subdivision at 802 El Camino Real. We have a staff report, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The applicant, Poppy RE LLC, is requesting a final parcel map to officially subdivide and build a fueling station and convenience market and related infrastructure on an existing 4.59 acre parcel located at 802 El Camino Real. The project site is located at the northeast corner of El Camino Real and Cypress Avenue. It is zoned highway commercial with a gateway overlay. The Planning Commission previously held a public hearing on the project, and the tentative parcel map for this project was approved on January 3rd, 2023, and extended on January 23rd, 2025. The requirements for final maps are set forth in the California Government Code and the Greenfield Municipal Code. The municipal code establishes the Planning Commission as the final approving authority for parcel maps. Planning Commission shall approve the final map if it conforms to all of the requirements of the Subdivision Act, Map Act, all the requirements of Title 16 of the Greenfield Municipal Code, and all of the requirements of approval of, or conditional approval of the tentative map. If the final map does not conform to those requirements, the Planning Commission shall disapprove the final map. The Community Development Director and City Engineer, City Surveyor have reviewed the attached final parcel map from your staff report. The subdivision shown on the parcel map is substantially the same as it appeared on the tentative parcel map approved by the Planning Commission on January 3rd, 2023. This final map is technically correct and complies with all requirements of the Subdivision Map Act, all of the requirements of Title 16 of the Greenfield Municipal Code, and the tentative parcel map conditions of approval. As a prerequisite to approval of the parcel map, the applicant was required to complete a subdivision improvement agreement, post bonds for the public improvements, and meet a number of other project conditions. The subdivision improvement agreement was approved by the City Council on October 14th, 2025. Portions of the right-of-way on Cypress Avenue will be dedicated to the City of Greenfield for public road purposes, and easements for public utilities on, over, or under those certain strips of land designated as public utility easements as shown on the final map. As this project moves through the subsequent planning and development processes to construction, it will be the responsibility of the planning director or the interim planning director to ensure all conditions of approval of the tentative parcel map continue to be satisfied. The development of the fueling station and convenience market at 802 El Camino Real has been previously reviewed and approved by the Planning Commission, and a tentative parcel map for this subdivision was approved by the Planning Commission on January 3rd, 2023, and was extended in January of 2025. The proposed final map conforms to all of the requirements of the Subdivision Map Act, all of the requirements of Title 16 of the Greenfield Muni Code, and all of the requirements of approval or conditional approval of the vested tentative map. The Planning Commission should therefore adopt the following resolution approving the proposed final map. And there is obviously a copy of the map in your staff report. That ends my staff report.
Thank you very much for that staff report. We'll go ahead and open up public comment. I don't see anybody online. Go ahead and close public comment and move on to Planning Commission discussion and decision. Are there any comments, you guys, questions?
No.
Well, if the developers have met all the prerequisites, I don't see any reason why we can't move forward with this.
Yeah, I agree. All parties seem to be happy, and it's a technical map, and we've approved it and extended it, and let's get going. So may I have a motion? It's on, oh, there's no page numbers.
I'm
There
looking
it
for
is.
it. I move that the Planning Commission of the City of Greenfield adopt resolution number 2026-01, approving the final parcel map for minor subdivision at 802 El Camino Real.
Thank you for that. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. We have no public hearings, and we can move on to other business, which is the Economic and Community Development Department update.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Near the end of 2025, the Community Development and Economic Development Departments suffered some pretty crazy losses, the biggest obviously being Paul Mugen. Paul Mugen's passing on November 25th. We also lost a assistant planner and a management analyst that moved on to greener pastures. So we're kind of finding ourselves, you see a bunch of new people here, me being one of them. We're trying to fall back and recoup. There's a lot that's gonna stay the same, but there's a few things that we need to make sure that we're getting done. Obviously, with an assistant planner leaving, we don't have the capacity in-house to have anybody else do it, so we've got contract planners coming in to help us, kind of like Brent is doing at the senior planner level. Well, since Evelyn has left, we're going to be using a couple of different assistant planners from outside companies to fill that gap. As far as a director goes, my feeling about this is, while of course we need a community development director and economic development director, with the impending building moratorium that council has passed, it's now sitting up in Sacramento, waiting for the HCD, the Housing and Community Development Department, to rule on whether they're going to grant us a building moratorium. Right now, everybody can still come in, and if they can get a final map, they can actually build no matter what the impact on the wastewater treatment plant is. It's just the way it is. The HCD at the state, they understand this, but their objective really is to build as much as they can. When in fact that building moratorium goes through at the state level, well then things are gonna quiet down building-wise here in Greenfield. And my thought is, while there's going to be plenty for that department to do in the economic development side, the community development side is not gonna be quite as active. And so I'm not in a big hurry to hire a new director, because they're not gonna be doing that many things on the planning and building side. Obviously, there will be ADUs that need to be built, there's conversions, the regular smaller things, but we've got a great couple of permit techs, plus we've got Brent to help out at the senior planner level, and then we've got the other assistant planners. Yeah, and when the building moratorium does end, we don't know when that's gonna be, but we are trying very hard in the planning for the wastewater treatment plant. We're trying really hard to make sure that maybe we can actually phase in a couple of steps that will really help us time-wise. We might be able to do a phase one that could actually get us to a point where we don't have the same issues in a much shorter period of time, so that we could shorten the building moratorium. Because I think we all kind of want that. Building moratorium kind of puts a heavy weight on the city in that it can't do residential, it can't do businesses, and we're kind of on hold. When it does end, and when things start picking up, I certainly will be looking at what we do as far as hiring a director. But the interim solution, and that interim could be a year, 2 years, might be longer, I don't know. I'm not planning on hiring a director. Now, could that change? Yeah, absolutely, it could change. We never know what's going to happen. So that's my update, and the staff is really stepping up. They're doing a great job. They've been hit really hard emotionally and professionally. So, but everybody's stepping up and doing a great job. So, any questions?
Yes.
Let me
I'm sorry, go
open and
ahead.
close public comment
Sure.
first. Thank you for that staff report. We'll open up public comment. I do see an 831 online. If you'd like to say something, raise your hand. Okay, there's no movement. We'll close public comment and move on to planning commission discussion.
Okay, my first question would be, is there any sort of indication when the state would rule on this?
No, we continually ask them, not every week, but certainly every couple of weeks. They did contact us, this was, I want to say around Thanksgiving. We actually had a sit down with them, and they told us that, yes, it was under review, and they did want us, because of the state of the wastewater treatment plant, they did want us to make some changes to the housing element that they've already approved, basically to say that, hey, we're going to have a building moratorium, and that's going to impact the number of units, the housing units that we'll be able to build. Okay, we get that. But they didn't tell us. So once we do that, and it'll probably, once we get the directive, and the directive will come in the form of a letter from HCD saying, hey, thank you for your submission of this building moratorium. Here's a bunch of things that we need you to do. One of them will be resubmit your housing element, taking into consideration the building moratorium. Okay, and we don't know exactly what that's going to look like, so we haven't started it yet. But once we get that notification, Brent Slama, who basically did the housing element, the original housing element, will go to work on modifying it, resubmit it. How long it'll take for them to review that, I don't know. And then we also don't know what else is going to be on their list that they want us to do. So we don't even know what it is we have to do. And I think the bigger issue, once we get all that done, I think the biggest issue will be, how long will it take for them to get, to approve the housing element again. It's, you have to remember, we're looking out, with the wastewater treatment plant, Greenfield imposed this building moratorium for the health and safety of the Greenfield residents. Because if something blows there, we got a lot of big problems. And our objective is health and safety. We don't want to do a building moratorium, but we kind of have to.
Right.
Their objective is to build housing. And while I'm assuming they understand our position, they're not necessarily going to cut their own legs off so that we can do what we need to do for Greenfield. I mean, that's why I think it shouldn't take very long. If they know what those items are, back in November, they could have told us and we could have gotten going on it. We've got nothing. And we have reached out 4 or 5 times. City Attorney's Office has reached out, as well as Public Works Department, because Public Works Department is the department that really wants to make sure that the building moratorium does go into effect so that we can move forward, get the wastewater treatment plant completed, and get back to a normal business, as it were.
Okay, now I've heard a couple of different things here, and I hope we can get some clarification on this. Now, I was told by someone that the moratorium would stay in place until the sewage plant was completed. Is that true?
It will stay it will stay in effect until the city of Greenfield meets its minimum requirements for effluent quantity
Right.
and quality. So the way it's set up and the general picture now is we're gonna get financing to build a plant, and then once that plant is finished, we'll start running things through it, and we will have met all the standards. We're thinking at this point, there might be an interim step in there, because the whole plant is gonna be, I can't remember if it's 4 or 6 module, you know,
Right.
like train cars, basically. And that's gonna be that will set us up for a lot of sewage. We will have we will certainly not be over our maximum daily flows when it's fully completed. We're looking right now, as we're going through the financing arrangements, could we kind of change the way, have the ultimate goal be the same project, but implement maybe the first half of it sooner? Because we could go half of the effluent through that, half the normal way, and when you combine them at the end, well, the quality should be twice as good. I don't know what the actual math is, but we think that the effluent quality should be able to pass the standards that are set now. And we also think just having half of the new thing will actually, the new plant will help us get to the quantity, address the quantity issue as well.
Okay, now you said earlier, until the state approves or disapproves the moratorium,
Yeah.
people can come in, get building permits and keep building, is that correct?
Yes, they can, yes.
See, now, sometime back, we were told that on a certain date, I forget what the date was,
Yeah.
September.
that it was just gonna stop, huh?
30 days or 60 days after yeah, well, that is normal when you've got a situation like ours. The big thing that changed that is the fact that we never expected the HCD to be hanging on to this thing for so long.
Okay,
Because the whole project had been submitted to HCD actually before the council approved it. It was all completed and city attorney's office sent that in. And then we were thinking that they would approve it or disapprove it, but probably approve it because it's a health and safety issue that
Right.
we've got, right? We thought that they would do that within that 30-day time period that it takes for the ordinance to take effect. That didn't happen. And so since that time, it's all been an issue of, well, it doesn't go into effect until HCD tells us. So could they send us something tomorrow? They could, but they've already told us on a Teams meeting that what they're gonna do is they're gonna put together a letter of all the things that they need for us to do. We're like, okay, send it over to us, because we kinda wanna get this done. We haven't got it yet. So, call that what you want. I call it dragging their feet, but for their own purposes, I get it. But not only, even when we get that letter, it's not gonna tell us that our building moratorium's good. It's like, here's the other things you need to do. We need to do them, we need to get all that information back to them,
right.
and we gotta wait for them again.
Okay, now, one of the mitigating factors would be also where the grants come in.
Yeah.
I mean, those haven't been approved yet, have they?
Okay, so we're working, we had a meeting on Monday with our team at the State Water Board.
Okay.
We're working through everything that we need to do. What we're assuming is, we're getting all this information together. We're talking about $111 million grant and 30, and loans. So it's a big package, it's a lot of money, a lot of I's to dot and T's to cross. But we expect to be able to go to council with a final agreement with the State Water Board in March or April. So we've got 2 months, we have January, February, 2.5 months or so to work through making sure that our bond counsel and our general counsel is good with all the verbiage, to make sure we got all the numbers right. What they're doing now is they're checking, we just did a big rate increase, right?
Right.
Okay, well, they're making sure that all the money that we say that we're gonna be able to make in addition to what we make now, there's gonna be enough to make the debt service payments on the loan part, right? So they've gotta do all their, due diligence to make sure that we've done everything that we need to do so that nobody gets screwed here. So we're working on that now, and the timeline is, we hope to have all the documents taken care of by the end of February. And in the meantime, I think starting, middle of January, we start getting the documents, not with numbers in them yet, but just the verbiage so the attorneys can look over them and make sure that we're all on the same page as far as what's required of us.
But the loan itself,
Yeah,
they have to look at the numbers before they can approve it, correct?
yes, they're doing that now.
I'm sorry?
They're doing that now.
Okay,
Yep, yep,
all right, that's all I have. Thank you.
okay.
Do you have any questions or comments?
You said the smaller projects would still be approved with the moratorium and,
Yeah, so smaller projects would be defined as ones that don't require, effluent, like bathrooms going to because those won't be. But if you're doing a garage conversion, or if you're doing something else that doesn't have a bathroom in it, yes, those can still be built. Even under the moratorium, they'll be able to be built.
so aside from this just being a bad word and just being what it is, right, where it scares people, how is it really affecting the city of Greenfield? This, we don't have these developers wanting to come in and build anyway, right? I mean,
Well,
we've had development
yeah.
up for sale for a long time, many years. And,
Yes.
the developers don't want to come, it's just too expensive, right? So how really is it affecting it? Is it affecting it at all?
Okay, so there are a number of projects that are out there that are kind of on hold. And hopefully, at the next meeting in February, remember Paul's book of all the projects that are going, hopefully we'll have that updated so you can see what's in the pipeline right now. But we do have some farm worker housing that's being considered. We do have a Chispa project over there on Elm. And we have, and then phase 2 of Greenfield Commons is, they're wanting to do it. They're looking at financing now, is from what I understand. And so there are a number of things that are out there. How's it affecting them? You know what? I don't know, because I don't know how close they are to actually doing something. But we also have to remember that normally a building moratorium, unless we can do this in a slightly phased process, it's going to be 2 to 3 years. And so we're not just talking about things that are in the pipeline now. We're actually talking about things that are in the pipeline now, plus anything that anybody may want to do 2 to 3 years from now. And for the people that are in the construction business, that financing's a big deal. And once you get it, you're paying interest on that money, like from day one. So you want to get it done as fast as you can. And they don't like things like building moratoriums hanging over their heads that there's not in their control, so that they're not going to be making commitments to build something until they know pretty much that they're going to be able to do it. And they're not going to, it's too much money for them to put at risk for something that's not under their control. So it is impacting things, but it has been slow. But don't forget, interest rates are starting to come down, and that will have an impact on what people want to do.
That's all I got.
Okay, so just to clarify, you mentioned the financing in March and April. Do you have any idea has the grant request been submitted?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Do
we've
you
sent
have
in
a timeline for
financials.
that?
We've got, say again?
Do you have a timeline for that?
Well, that's what it is. So the grant,
March.
the whole financing package will include everything.
Okay,
And we're getting wording now for what the document's gonna look like. and the attorneys are going over, okay, we like this, see if we can change this. And it'll be the March, April timeframe
Okay.
to actually have council approve it. They're not telling us the numbers yet, because they don't want people to go crazy about, oh, yeah, we got whatever, or how come we only got whatever. So that's not something we're worried about right now, because we need to do whatever we need to do. So we need to get the language hammered out and make sure that all the attorneys have looked at everything, make sure the financial consultants have looked at everything to make sure that we're covered as far as being able to make, the loan payments.
Okay.
Yeah, as well as, this is the grant itself is deemed a reimbursable grant. So we need to put the money out first, and then we get reimbursed. Well, that's all good and well during the planning phase, when you might have a few $1 million in planning going out, in architect's fees and all these things. But when construction starts in earnest, you're gonna have tens of millions of dollars going out at a time, paying for construction. And if we've got to cash flow that, right, we need to make sure that even if the day we get that invoice from whoever the construction company is, if we can get that submitted to the state to say, hey, we're gonna be paying this bill in 2 weeks, we need a check. So we're working through the logistics of how long it's gonna take them to get us a check, so it's just so that we can cash flow it. Otherwise, and if that can't happen, because the state's a pretty big organization, we'll do it as best we can and figure it out, and then we may have to do something else about cash flowing it. We have to find some other source of very short-term loan, just so that we can make the cash thing work. Or, and we're working on this as well, working with the equipment manufacturer on time payments. Knowing that, don't forget, let's go back to the story way at the beginning. What we're doing can have a huge impact on wastewater treatment plants all over the United States, but mostly in California. Since the state funds most of these small wastewater districts, they're the ones that fund them, and ours is a lot less than it could be if we use the traditional way of doing it. This is the new way of doing it. It's a smaller footprint. It's faster. It's got great capacity, and it's cheaper. So once we prove that it can happen on the scale that we're talking, because they've got these things out there that are working now, but not at scale that we're going to be doing it at. And so once we prove that concept out, the state should be saying, oh, this is the way that, these are the projects that we need to fund. So this really helps the industry part of the manufacturers of these units. So we're using that as much leverage as we can to say, hey, let's make sure this thing works. Let's make sure that the financial part works and we can cash flow it. And maybe some of that is they've got to wait an extra 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to get paid on certain parts of it so that we can make it cash flow.
Well, you should point to Greenfield's long history of being trailblazers, because we have blazed a lot of trails.
There you go. Absolutely.
What about the general plan update? Where are we with that?
We're not talking about the general plan update yet.
Okay.
We do, the only part of it is going to be the housing element that's going to need to be redone. Once we get that done, we will need to pick that up. But I think we're more of in a triage mode right now,
Okay.
in making sure that we can get the current projects that are in the pipeline addressed. And then once we have a little time, and that may be, I'm not sure, it may be after the building moratorium goes into effect. I don't know.
Yeah, because I think there's time constraints on that too.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned too, if you don't hire a planning director, are are we obsolete? I mean, are you still gonna need your planning commission?
Well, when a building moratorium goes into effect, yes, we'll need the planning commission, but will you be doing a lot of business? No, because you're not gonna be doing so much, planning. You won't be doing a lot of, there won't be a lot of activity for you to deal with. Will we need one? Yes. I think it's actually mandated by the state that we have a planning commission. So yes, we will, plus for all those smaller things that will be able to be done.
All right, I think that's all I had. You had one of my questions?
Yeah, I
answered?
do. I always do.
Yes, you do.
Now, when we had those town hall meetings, there were some numbers that were tossed around.
Yeah.
Are those numbers still in play, or have
No,
they
they're,
changed
they're
significantly?
definitely in play. And, the worst-case scenario and the best-case scenario, what went to the voters was the worst-case scenario, because we had to do that. I believe it's gonna be significantly better than that.
Okay,
I don't think it'll be that bad.
okay, now the proposed sewage plant. Now, are they planning that for take into consideration its growth in Greenfield, what it'll be like, let's go on the premise, 10 years. So is all that taken into consideration?
Yes, it is. Yep. And not only that, but don't forget, this is a modular system.
Okay.
So that if we decide, oh no, we're gonna grow 30% more, we add on modules
Okay,
rather than, redo the sewer plant.
all right,
That it?
I'm done.
All right, well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
We can move on to comments from planning commission and staff. Would staff like to go first? Do you have any comments? Commission?
I do, and it pertains to Mr. Mugen. I considered him a friend, and over the years, I feel we formed a really good relationship between he and I. Anyway, so I'd like something simple to honor him. And I've taken this into consideration. I thought about just putting a simple little bench outside. And, it's like in memory of Mr. Mugen. And I'm sorry. I didn't want to do this. I spend a lot of time at the Soldat Mission when I ride through my bike and refresh my water bottles. And they have benches there in memory of the Franchonis, Farashis, of people who were valuable to the community. And I realized that Mr. Mugen at times did ruffle some feathers. But he did what he thought he had to do, what was best for the community. And I admire that. And yeah, I'd like to see something done for him. Something simple. And I was planning on addressing this at city council meeting also. And so, yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you. Have anything? Yeah, I too would like to take a moment and talk about Paul. Thanks for getting me going. I've known Paul since I first moved here, when City Hall was, the science workshop. And when we first came onto the scene, there was kind of fireworks going on, and he turned into a really good friend, and I miss him. I agree with the bench. I would just think that it might be good to put out at Patriot Park by the ball field, or somewhere by the baseball field, some baseball field, because when he organized that high school baseball, training with the guys in Monterey, he was so happy. I have video of him, trying to hit the ball and throw the ball, but he was just so happy out there on the ball field. He was a good man. He's going to be missed. And with that, we'll adjourn. do that for?
See you later.
Okay, we'll see you.